Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to suspend the rules for the purposes of adding a resolution to our regular agenda.
All right, without objection. All right, seeing none. All right, rules suspended. Thank you, sir. Go
All
ahead.
right. Thank you. Council members should have a resolution in front of them. Do they? Not
No.
yet? Okay. Mr. Wade, do I need to go ahead and read the resolution in? All right. I'll wait for council members to receive the resolution. I'll go ahead and read it into the record. And after I read it in the record, I'm going to yield to Councilor Wade pertaining to this resolution. So, reading this resolution in the record, it says, whereas the Memphis City Council approved referendum ordinances numbers 5669, 5676, and 5677 on December the 5th, 2017 and February 18, 2018 with the vote of virtually every council member, collectively the referendum ordinances. Whereas the council as elected representatives of the public has determined that the proposed charter amendments are in the best interest of their constituents and the city as a whole. Whereas each referendum ordinance provides for the submission to Memphis voters of proposed amendments to the home rule charter of the city of Memphis. Whereas each referendum ordinance has been submitted to the Shelby County Election Commission and included on the November 6, 2018 ballot. And whereas citizens from every council district have requested their elected representatives on the council to provide them more factual and general information about each referendum ordinance and the council's reasons for proposing the referenda. Whereas the voters have the right to vote as they see fit, but should be armed with accurate facts and figures to allow them to make an informed decision. Whereas the council believes it is their legislative duty to provide and make sure public information about each referendum ordinance is given to the public in the most efficient and cost-effective manner. Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the City Code of Ordinances 2-279A, the Memphis City Council does hereby appropriate from the City Council's budget as the chairman deems reasonable and appropriate, which funds have already been appropriated for council legislative affairs and lobbying activities to cover the cost of conducting a public information campaign about the referenda, to explain the potential benefits to Memphis citizens and to the city of Memphis as a whole, including printing, mailing, space in publications, time on radio or television, or otherwise disseminating information to the Memphis voters manually and electronically about the referendum ordinances through electronic mediums and other mediums, and about the potential benefits of each referendum to the city of Memphis. And I'd like to go ahead and move this on the floor. And I would like to go ahead and yield to Attorney Wade so that he can discuss this more and the reason why this is necessary.
Can you move it?
Is this item 30? Okay.
Yes, this is item number 30.
Thank you.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. We will recognize Attorney Wade. Attorney Wade.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, pursuant to our ordinances, you are allowed to fund a public awareness campaign on any referenda that you authorize. It is, I think you have determined this in the best interest of the city and your constituents, and for that reason, I think it is appropriate. Just a little historical background, the ordinance that allows you to do this has been on the books for decades. It's been used many, many times. It was last used when the referendum on the MLG&W referendum was placed on the ballot, which ended up benefiting the city by millions of dollars. So these are typically things that you do within your legislative duties. And I believe we have received numerous, maybe hundreds of requests from citizens asking for your position on this matter. I would also point out that looking at the body today, I see maybe one or two people who have been said will benefit from this resolution. The rest of you have many terms ahead of you. I don't think you will immediately benefit, so anybody who believes that they can't vote for this on the basis that it might immediately benefit them can recuse themselves. But this is not unusual. This is something that we do on a consistent basis.
Mr. Chair.
All right, I see Councilman Morgan in here with a question. So, Councilman Morgan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How much is available to be spent that in the legislative affairs and lobbying activities budget line?
So based on my accounts right now with monitoring and keeping up with the budget, there's a guesstimate of right around anywhere between to $40,000 that we have in a sub account over government affairs.
Okay. And I'm not questioning the legality of this at all, but I do question the wisdom of it. I think the negative press and blowback on this for spending taxpayer dollars on the referendum is going to far outweigh the 30 to 40,000 of education and information we're going to be able to send out. I'm not this. This is going to be a lightning rod to some people, and it's going to pick up a lot of free press. And I think snowball with some of the negative press we've already seen. I'm just not sure that this is in the best interest of the council or the intended result to lobby and advocate for the council's positions on these referendums. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Colbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, I respectfully disagree. Colleagues, we're doing this in the light of day, okay? Everybody knows who we are, and we're on the record voting for this. We're not a shadowy organization trying to flood money from outside of Memphis into Memphis to influence Memphis votes. I wonder if in the original 08 version, when this was originally voted in, if this IRV question, if they had the conversation about they're going to have to hand count ballots. Now this is 2018 and this is Memphis, Tennessee. We're not going to hand count ballots. Part two, we've had this conversation before. We've gone through the scenarios. We've talked about how votes are going to get thrown out, and there is a scenario at this point on these two issues. You cannot guarantee me that we won't be hand counting ballots. You cannot guarantee me that votes, depending on how it plays out, won't be thrown out and disenfranchised. Now I think it's tough to spend public money on something like this, but this is about education. And we're doing it in the light of day. As I said, we're not some shadowy outside of Memphis group flooding this place with money. Our job, and we've done this before, is to educate. It isn't to enlighten, it's to show you. I cannot tell you how many times my phone has been ringing off the hook with people asking, saying, what is IRV? Well, ladies and gentlemen, for that reason, we must educate. And we stand here in front of you, voting to educate. That, my friend, is why I must vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Conrad. Attorney Wade.
Yeah, let me point out
Colbert,
one other.
sorry for correction. Councilman Colbert.
Let me point out one other thing that Councilman Covett mentioned. In 2008, when the Charter Commission recommended, I think, 6 referenda, their operations were funded with public dollars. They were supposed to have been a citizen group that ran for election on their own dime, but this council ended up funding their operation. So, I mean, I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Thank you. Don't see any other public, any comments from our colleagues. Yes.
Don't want to ask, but if this does pass, can we get same 9 minutes on this item?
The will of the body said no objection, so
Okay.
staff,
Case
again,
by case.
I apologize. All again, this item was moved by Councilman Ford, seconded by Councilwoman Swearingen. Seeing no other council members in the queue, cast your votes for item number 30.
Canali, no. Colvett, yes. Conrad, no. Ford, yes. Morgan, no. Robinson, yes. Swearingen, yes. Chairman Boyd, yes.
That item passes.